If you want a big tree, let me tell you that we are the small axe, sharp and ready to cut you down.
We mustn't be victims, but protagonists of our stories.
As individuals, we have an impossible battle. As a collective, we stand a chance.
Sometimes I think the earth needs to be scorched, so something good will come of it.
Uprising, this an uprising. There ain't no work and we have no shilling. We can't take no more of this suffering.
If you want a big tree, we are the small axe.
We're adding new titles every day to our awesome collection of blockbuster movies. Download the app and subscribe. This isn't just a streaming channel. This is a bold new world of entertainment. Arise Play. Beyond streaming.
Here are the Arise Plays Movie Box and Indie View Festival Lagos winners of the Short Films Competition, August 2022.
Lagos.
Bad Market.
Somebody they wait for you here. So who is there, you don't know. No more questions.
See, this place, no be place for small girls like you. This is business.
Gasper.
I can't apologize for my actions, but I could be civil enough to formally introduce myself to you, friend. Hello there. My name is Gasper.
Stream these and other winning short films exclusively on Arise Play. Do you think your short film can win the Movie Box and Indie View Festival Lagos competition? Then what are you waiting for? Winners are selected every month. Visit at Arise Play and at Indie View Lagos on Instagram to submit your entry. Experience a whole new world of entertainment with the exclusive Indie View and Arise Play Movie Box partnership. Arise Play. Beyond streaming.
A very warm welcome to this week, 60 minutes of analytical review of the big stories, topical issues, and all the controversies around the world. I'm Sumner Sambo, and in the headlines, as Nigerians mark 62nd anniversary, President Muhammadu Buhari is asking the nation not to lose hope. He's promising better security and appeals to ASU to call off its 7-month-old strike. And also, as Nigeria celebrates Independence Day, some Nigerians are set to honor a leading Second Republic politician, Solomon Lar, who is the founding national chairman of the main opposition People's Democratic Party and ex-governor of Old Plateau State. Very warm welcome to the program. Once again, Nigeria 62 years of self-rule after gaining independence from Britain. On the occasion of the anniversary, President Muhammadu Buhari, in his Independence Day speech, is asking Nigerians not to lose hope and keep faith alive as they work towards building a united and prosperous nation. Now, the president spoke on a wide range of issues, including the forthcoming presidential election, since this is his last Independence Day speech as the nation's president. As he nears his second term conclusion. He spoke on several issues such as the economy, education, security, the 2023 election, and all of that. While the president is appealing to the Academic Staff Union of Universities as to call off its 7-month-old strike, he's promising more military action against insurgents to secure the nation's borders and, of course, internal security. He's also urging more patriotism and keeping the dreams of the nation's founding fathers on course. He paid tribute to the founding fathers of the nation, the heroes of independence, and all those who are his predecessors for keeping the nation up until now.
As we begin the transition process to another democratically elected government, I want to implore all aspirants to conduct issue-based campaigns devoid of hate speeches, as well as other negative and divisive tendencies. I also want to express my wish that we see more female and youth participation in the forthcoming electoral cycle. I am sure that our teeming and energetic youth now realize that violence generally mar elections and so should desist from being used by politicians for this purpose.
Well, we have in the studio former Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Dr. Mike Omeri. And of course, we have Dr. Fatih Ibrahim, who's the founder of the Pan-African Women Global Network. So good to have all of you join us in the studio. Dr. Omeri, I know you're a specialist in this area, having served as the DG of the National Orientation Agency. When it comes to nation building and you hear Buhari calling for the nation to be united ahead of the next elections, admonishing all Nigerians to remain as one, to give peace a chance and ensure that the dreams of the founding fathers do not just go away like that. What comes to your mind?
Well, first and foremost, let me say this, that it is the right call to make. The right call because every citizen, every patriot, every leader, whether they are living ancestors or aspiring ancestors, they should they should use their voices, their big voices, to call on Nigerians to unite, to call on Nigerians to build the country, to call on Nigerians to exert their energy selflessly towards nation building. So it is not out of place. When it becomes out of place is when you see leaders, especially those aspiring to offices, who begin to tear the nation apart, like we have seen in the recent past. Who can conspire, who can go and talk to foreign governments and work with them to see how they can undermine the performance of government in order to give them advantage and leverage their access to government. That is the problem, because once you do that, you enter government, you have to repair what you damaged before you are able to build what your intentions may be. And so leaders at all levels, whether we are religious leaders, media, all persons of elites of influence in society should talk and work and act towards nation building. Let that be our common narrative, and I'm sure we'll see something beautiful out of it.
Okay, Dr. Fatih, let's talk about, all of these messages on days like this. We hear leaders in the country preaching to us how to rebuild the nation, but when it comes to political period, it looks like they are acting in a reverse manner, and the kind of language and tone you hear, it makes people wonder what exactly makes our politicians want to focus more on things that divide us rather than unite us. And it's only on the days of independence or maybe May 29 or so of Democracy Day that you hear them preaching peace and unity.
Thank you very much. Well, for me, I look at the insincerity of our leaders. They don't get to say what it should be. A lot of things have been happening. Several people are not happy with what is happening in Nigeria today. And here we are, our leaders will keep on talking unity and peace. How can there be unity and peace when there's injustice? That is being done all over the place. People are being killed, people are being kidnapped. I keep on wondering, Nigeria is 62 years old now. Do we have anything to celebrate? For me, no. The only thing I can say, yes, we can celebrate is that Nigeria has not broken apart. We're still together. But you see, when the president just spoke and what he said about carrying along women and youths, look at what is happening in the politics today. Out there, how many women will get into the general election? So many fell by the side.
Yeah,
so
during
no
the
inclusion.
primaries and all
Yes,
of
during
that.
the primaries. So what are we talking about? The youths have no job. So many of them are out of school with the ASU strike. So many things are happening. I mean, people are not happy. We have to say it as it is, because we cannot keep on sweeping problem under the carpet. Our founding fathers will be crying wherever they are, what they see in Nigeria today. So it's rather unfortunate. But anyway, we'll continue to preach unity and peace for this nation.
Let's talk about the issue of leadership recruitment. Why is it looking like the women are left out of politics? Is it that the women are not doing enough, or women are not supporting each other more? Do we need to have to wait for a situation whereby you're asking for quota every now and then, when you should use your population to be able to push through some of your persons through the political process?
Yeah, well, you know what is happening today? It's the men are scheming the women out. Why?
With the consent of some of the women.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but then, you know, there's a lot of things happening because the men are threatened with the women. You agree with me that women that have been in positions have performed very well and excellently. So the men get scared, and there's a lot of barriers. There's religious barriers, traditional barriers. People keep on saying women were not together. Well, we have come a long way. Yes, sometimes I agree. But then we're getting somewhere. And we've been fighting for this affirmative action. And it's getting worse by the day. Look at this government. How many women in the National Assembly? If you look at the figure, there are no women, and come 2023, so many are not even going for general election. So we'll have very few. So who will stand and speak for women's issue and youths? Because of course we are the mothers, so they are our children. So we work hand in hand, women and youths. So I think we have a long way to go, and maybe come into elective position or appointive position.
Yeah, the appointive, I mean,
yes,
may just be the next place where you're eyeing now.
Because right now I don't know how we can, it's too late. But then we're getting there.
Okay. Now, Dr. Mary, let's talk about national consciousness. A lot of Nigerians don't seem like they believe in the country itself. There seem to have been this erosion of trust in the nation itself. I mean, when you talk about in nations, you mentioned Nigeria, the way we participate in other events before. In those days, during National Day celebrations like this, the consciousness was high. But now, I mean, you just see people playing football, doing lots of things on national days like this. Even the things going on at the National Square, the Eagle Square, for example, a lot of people are not interested in following. What has led to the erosion of public consciousness when it comes to national cohesion?
Trust deficit. There is grinding trust deficit between citizens and government. And sometimes government says its opinion, and those opinions or views on issues, concrete issues, do not reflect the reality or the way people feel out there. I'll give you an example, and I'm not mentioning name and say it's specific to any region. A president will come on air and say that food prices are okay, Nigerians are doing well, and so forth and so on. Meanwhile, 90% of Nigerians know that the cost of a bag of rice is more than the minimum wage. They feel it. Meanwhile, they say there is food abundant. You know that in villages where the bulk of the food comes from, farmers are not on the farms. So cost of food everywhere, whether in the village or in the cities, are on the upward swing. So if government says it has solved this problem, we have rice, and so rice should be cheap, but rice is still 40,000 or 45,000 or so. Why should I trust government? So when government is organizing their events, they say, that's government, that's what they do, that's their way. Let us remain with our reality of poverty and struggling to get the food that we'll eat for that day. That is what you see in society. Now, talking about, why Nigerians stay away, they see government as us versus them. Government takes care of itself. Government officials, especially that we see today, they don't have the problem that we have.
Yeah, but they did used to be better than what we have now. You see, in terms of other previous National Day celebration, when the president mounts the podium to speak to the nation, was there? How was the consciousness like among Nigerians in those days?
Those were the days that you will rush from office or wherever you are to go and say glued to the TV because the president is going to say something that could affect policy, that could affect your own life, and so forth. And so those were the days. But on the other, I would say there is season for everything. The season for that had passed, and it would have remained if the trust deficit had not crept in. Now, and that was why, for me, when I was in the NOA, I noticed that coming. And so when we did a research with my offices in the country, we advocated that instead of gathering people in the stadium or Eagle Square or anywhere, why don't you turn it to Nigeria History Month so that we begin to know ourselves more?
Yeah, a long stretch.
Yes, Petro Day, 1 month of, Nigerianness. We can do exchanges, cultural exchanges between the states. We should reflect, everything should reflect Nigeria. And that is one way of returning that consciousness back to us that we are Nigerians. I thought it was something meaningful. We advocated for it. We're inching towards it, but it's abandoned. It's abandoned by everybody.
Including, sorry to interrupt, there was this slogan then that was put together by the former, by the late Minister of Information, then Nigeria, good people, great nation. I mean, during your time, and that slogan went around everywhere. I mean, trying to revive the national consciousness.
Yes, even to consolidate that slogan, good people, great nation, we came up with do the right things, transform Nigeria. And these are the things, because we believe that if everybody chooses to do the right thing, there are certain agencies that we may not even need them. Because we are doing the right things. Why do you need to have EFCC chasing us up and down? You understand? We are doing the right things. Why do we need, in so many of these sectors? So we are duplicating mechanisms for deterrent. And each time we create one, people up their grade or their scale of breaking the law or misbehavior, or engaging in misdemeanor and make it look like that is the new normal. So we, in an attempt to solve one, we create another agency, then people's, vices shoots up. So, see, I strongly believe that this country is not of potential. This country is of possibilities, because you can get to the highest peak of your chosen, whether it's career, whether it's business, whether it's sports and so forth, within Nigeria. The resources are there, the people are there. So it's an opportunity. So let us stop talking about the possibilities of Nigeria. I mean, the potentials of Nigeria.
We keep saying.
We had potentials. That's why they gave us independence. Now we have independence. It should be a land of opportunities after 62 years. Please.
Okay. And Doctor, what do you recollect of those days, I mean, of nationhood while growing up, about this country? What sort of ideas? Because President Muhammadu Buhari is paying homage to our founding fathers, is asking people to keep faith alive with the nation. But sometimes, like you had outlined earlier, people are struggling to want to understand what it means to be a Nigerian. Some people will easily want to deny their nation if given a better opportunity. You've seen athletes go to other countries to compete for them rather than Nigeria. Some people, if you give them, a ticket right now with a visa to just head to any of these Western countries, immediately they'll deny our country. I want to go outside there. What do you recollect of the past, what it meant to be a Nigerian, especially the socio-economic atmosphere then in the First Republic and of course Second Republic before this Fourth Republic that we are in?
Yes, some of us, so many people are proud to be Nigerians then, because we are in everything abundant. We have everything. God has blessed Nigeria, both in terms of mineral resources, in terms of human resources, everything God has blessed us. And God is still blessing us. But like I said from the beginning, the leadership issue, there's a lot of insincerity. I keep on saying that. From the question you did ask, that why is it people are not interested? Why should people be interested when there's a disconnect between the leaders and the common man? Today, the leaders or the government will say this, meanwhile, it's the other way around. And we keep on talking about our economy. Look at our economy. The government kept on talking about diversification. You know, we all know, especially from the north where I come from, agriculture, for example. We can feed the nation, but today people cannot even go to the farm because of the insecurity. So why should people waste their time and go to Eagle Square? Do what? They just go and hear what will make them very angry? You know, I mean, what is happening in Nigeria today, you know, it's not the Nigeria we used to know. Nigeria has been, everybody was proud to even carry the green card. But today people are even shy to bring out the green card. People are checking out of Nigeria today. So many, I keep on saying one day we'll just wake up. We don't even have medical doctors. We don't even have any medical personnel. Education, look at our education system today when children have been home almost for 1 year. So what are they learning?
7 months specifically.
And we are talking about
well, is it all about doom and gloom? Are there no good things about this country that we are seeing? I mean, with successive government, even if not this one alone. Are there no positive things that we can say about our nation?
Of course there is. There's so much positive things, you know, to say. But then the structure is not even there for those to even say the positive things. People have, I mean, taken over the bad one, has covered the positive side, because there are so many great, I mean, like the slogan says, great people, great nation.
Good people, great nation.
Good people or whatever. I've even forgotten the slogan because it's not
like
working.
It was, I mean, the one that this government is using is change begins with me.
So, but our leaders are not living by example. They need to live by example because the common man is watching you.
Yeah, but how about the Nigerians themselves? I mean, aren't Nigerians having problems with, I mean, it's not only about those in government. Those who are the citizens, aren't they contributing to the bad things that we also have it? I mean, who are the kidnappers? Who are the bad people cheating each other? I mean, isn't within the population? And can you recruit good people out of a mass of people who are doing what is not right?
Let me tell you, everybody is guilty. Not only the leaders, but what we are saying, leaders should live by example. Because the common man, he's tired, he's hungry, he's frustrated. There's a lot of injustice against him. So he just feels he can do anything and feels he can get away with. I mean, the common man too could be a problem, especially during elections. They go and give them peanuts, and at the end of the day, they pack them, the higher bidder, they take them to lock them up in a hotel. You that do not have money, do not have access to them, or the women especially that have not been empowered.
So,
you know, so
that's where the men have been targeting. And I will ask you too, that's because is it all doom and gloom? What are the positive things about Nigeria that we can still say?
So I want to say this to Dr. Fati, that it is not only the women who do not have money. There are men who do not have money and therefore lose elections.
And they are kicked out of the electoral process.
But Nigeria is not all doom and gloom. Somehow, because every day we get a new law, like she said, and it's prevalent in most open spaces, Nigeria spaces, but you get a flicker of hope. You know, our young girls were at the Commonwealth. We didn't even know they were preparing. We didn't know anything. We just had goal everywhere. Now, can we have it? After that, what lessons? No lesson. Because what are we doing to sustain it? That is what she's saying.
Well, the president gave them national honors as part of...
Sustain so that we can get more. It is not about creating them as role models for this. Or it's not like in the media, we say uses and gratification. Let us create a platform that will train more people. Let these people, apart from being just role model, if they are role model, what do I do to train? If you check, most of these people, even though they started in Nigeria, they have to go somewhere else to perfect their skin. Why? Why can't we Nigerians take the best and be, even right now? Now, in certain situations, Nigeria has done so much and set examples. But we can also permit me to say something. Like you mentioned, people are willing to just go the japa here and there. There are even public institutions that are jappering in Nigeria today. If we are introducing an airline business, Air Nigeria, we have a few Nigerians doing successful airline businesses. Why can't we put them together and say, run this? Then we go and give Nigeria, that's supposed to be an example for the rest of Africa, is giving 49%, almost 50% of an airline called Air Nigerian, of air business called Air Nigerian to another country. Is that Air Nigeria?
49%.
49%. That's I say almost 50.
Yeah, Ethiopian Airways.
Then the Nigeria itself has 5% or so, and then the rest you don't even know who they are. Investigate. Let us investigate to know who are the remaining owners of the 46%. You will see. You'll be shocked.
Yeah, but there's also this criticism that some institutions of government, like the NOA, which you once headed, is not playing the critical role of, boosting national consciousness for a lot of Nigerians to be able to know their country. Because of insecurity, a lot of Nigerians are no longer traveling so much. So many people don't even know their country. And the agencies of government that are supposed to promote national consciousness are just lying fallow. What do we do to improve this situation?
I spoke on this matter a few days ago on one of the TV stations, and it has come again. The NOA is, if you allow me, should be, after the fourth estate of the ring, the NOA should be the fifth. If it were not the fourth, because the fourth is supposed to discharge a portion of the duties of the interpretative role of the NOA. Is the government of Nigeria aware of that, especially this government? They are talking it under Ministry of Information, not even as a department. It's not mentioned as in the name of the ministry. They are trying to hide it. That is wrong. This is the agency, like you said, the role that the agency should play is as important, but government is belittling it. The government is giving it 20 million naira per quarter or sometimes per month to discharge. How can it work? How can it sustain the work? There are other options that you can get money from development partners and so forth. I mentioned it. Yes, they will give you, but they will not give you to go and sensitize people of our own problem. They are after their own interest. So if they are going to support any program, it must tally with their interest. So if their interest is to convince you to begin to think like them or to buy them, they support you. The government that is concerned about values, about the consciousness of this nation, is not supporting the agency to discharge that function. Instead, they are even trying to cancel it. I mean, who does that? When the rest, I have been to many countries in the course of my work and other travels. I have seen these agencies by different names in nearly all the countries that I have been, from Thailand to US to UK to China. Ghana has had it. Egypt has had it. When I was in office, I mentioned it. Botswana came to learn how they can go and start the same office. Sierra Leone also came to us. So what are we talking about? When people are trying to learn something from us, we are now going to, instead of us to play the elephant, we are playing like ants.
Okay, you've thrown some very strong words there. And we'll just have to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll talk about the founding fathers of the country and, of course, some of those politicians that have been creating certain change over the course of the nation's history. And, of course, one of those persons is the late Solomon Lar, who's the founding chairman of the People's Democratic Party, but he was the governor of Old Plateau State, which now has Nasarawa State and, of course, Plateau itself embedded. Stay with us as we go on this short break.
Are you struggling with a health challenge? Do you need financial help to access treatment?
I'm tired of trying. I need help. I want to try IVF. I know it's expensive.
Apply now for MHSS, the Maternal Health Service Support, a discounted loan by the W Initiative of Access Bank. For more information, visit our website on www.thewcommunity.com or any Access Bank branch nationwide. You can also send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Terms and conditions apply. The MHSS has successfully financed hundreds of health procedures.
The next one could be yours.
Our music is one of our greatest exports, but our wildlife could be another great industry if we protect it for future generations. Right now, it's threatened by illegal wildlife trade. So please, report wildlife crime and say no to illegal bushmeat. Because poaching steals from us all.
Here's a card we no go give you stress at all. Zero waiting, zero queue. First Banky Petra card. Here's a card we no go give you wahala. Zero trouble now for you. First Banky Petra card. Tell off his spoiler. Who won't break 'em? Where you want say now only you get 'em. Nothing fit to one. Sharp payment not the way. Swipe they go, you know the way. Veteran card with the sweet body. Veteran card we know the shape person. We put you first again. First Banky Veteran card we put you first again. Generate your virtual card we put you first again. First Banky Veteran card we put you first again. Just generate your virtual card.
We started our journey over 7 years ago, connecting travelers to their favorite destinations. Since then, we've revolutionized how we want our passengers to feel while flying. That is why we've introduced our brand new Embraer 195E2 aircraft.
Everyone has a face they need to see.
We are on a mission to add new destinations to our ever-increasing fleet. Our Boeing 777 will take you on an international journey. Mumbai, Guangzhou, London, Johannesburg. And now, Airpeace is adding a new destination, Dubai.
If you're gonna fly, then you should fly with us on
Airpeace flies you from all our domestic routes to Dubai from Lagos at no additional cost.
Welcome back from the break. You're still watching This Week, and of course we've been discussing Nigeria's 62nd independence anniversary, the values of the nation, what we need to do to return national consciousness to citizens, to let them believe in the potentials of Nigeria, and of course how to utilize not just the potentials but to bring out the best out of the country, and of course while not forgetting the founding fathers of the country and all those Nigerian patriots that have helped to keep the nation alive. And of course President Muhammadu Buhari has been commending them for all of that. And of course I have in the studio studio Dr. Mike Omeri, who is the former Director General of the National Orientation Agency, and Dr. Fatih Ibrahim, who is the founder of Pan-African Women Global Network. Thank you so much for still being with us.
Thank you.
And now we'll just get one question to you, Dr. Omeri, to allow you to conclude on what we're discussing before we move on to other issues now. Let's talk about institutional reforms on how to make the National Orientation Agency play an active role. What do we need to do? Do we need to put this institution on first line charge? Because I mean, I remember in those days while growing up, you used to have information officers go around the country teaching people how to take care of basic things, including how not to make their environments dirty. And if there's a government program, it is discussed at the lowest level through, information vans for people to have an understanding of the nation, what they're expected to do as citizens. But we don't have all of that happening. And you said most of these things are due to poor funding of the National Orientation Agency.
Yes. If you permit me, I will say this. First, we advocated that the agency should be turned into a commission where it will discharge missions, duties. And in the commission, we can have representatives from the state cleared by their state assemblies because they have discharged themselves honorably based on the values of those societies. So they are bringing it to the national level so they can now put together the diversity that other countries are looking for. We have it. So they put it together and we create that aroma, that Nigerian aroma, But an agency, the way it is now, that is supposed to be acting on the orders of somebody. If we say do, stop.
Which specifically the Office of the Minister of Information.
Minister of Information. And where you have a cantankerous minister, excuse my word, who wants to do the work of the agency, you will not see the agency. And he will do it wrongly because he doesn't have the capacity, he doesn't have the staff. The NOA is trained. They have staff in all the 774 local government areas, a minimum of 7. So allow them to discharge those duties of working with the communities. The Ministry of Information is not in every local government, it's not in every state, except that the states have their own version.
Yeah,
so
version.
Now,
many of them are poorly funded.
Yes, and the NOA is very poorly funded. So leave the NOA on the first line charge, agree that every month this is what goes to it and it gets to it. Now, then you can begin to measure and evaluate its performance. Without that, we are just not being fair. If I have my way, I will scrap the Ministry of Information. And I am saying this because I have visited the best examples around the world. I have seen that. Have you ever had Minister of Information of the United States or Secretary of
No, I mean, yeah, these are some of the old contraptions that we inherited, especially from the military, which are still in existence. And people keep wondering, what do we need a Minister of Information?
So why don't we move away from it? Why don't we create, there is a process. And when I was there in NOA and heading the National Information Center, I created that process. And that was why then, if we are talking about Boko Haram or any other challenge of insecurity which we are handling as an office with my colleagues and seniors on that team, whatever we say at the center was also communicated across the world. All our embassies, all other persons, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the critical role you played, especially when we had these issues of insecurity. You were always the one that was given opportunity to address it, rather than what we have now. But, well, we have to move on to other issues now. All is set for the official launch of the autobiography of one of the fathers of Nigeria's democracy, Solomon Lar. There will also be an Institute for Good Governance in his name to be launched in Abuja. Lar, who died at the age of 80, was a member of the first national parliament when Nigeria gained independence in 1960. He was elected governor of Old Plateau State on the platform of the Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, in the Second Republic, and was the founding chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, which is Nigeria's main opposition at the moment. Now, the institute is expected to promote his values and learn how he built all-inclusive government of Nigerians from all parts of the country. And I come to you, Dr. Fatih. Let's talk about the man Solomon Lar. What are those things that stands him out that's making you people to all come together to want to honor this late politician?
Yeah, Chief Solomon Lar is a visionary leader, as is fondly known as the emancipator, because he is a good leader, And, you know, he is a good listener. And he has done so much. He cares for the people, very courageous and a fighter. Because I don't think there are very few leaders like him today. Because Chief Solomon Lar was so concerned about the well-being of the common man. Always listening, talking to them. What are their problems? How can he solve their problems? And very generous. These are leaders that never thought of themselves or their family. Because this man, you will not believe it, he did not do anything for himself and his family to even build a house here in Abuja. How many of our politicians today
I mean, that's
that
strange.
do not have a house in Abuja? This is the kind of leader we are talking about, because he's a phenomenon, and he's also, like I said, is a visionary leader that most of our leaders, if they will emulate what Chief Solomon Lar have done, I mean, we'll have good leaders. Okay. But we don't have such leaders. We have very few that are like him. But
well, we need a lot of leadership reforms, and it's good to know that we're in the leadership recruitment process as Nigerians are choosing new leaders, electing new leaders. Next year, there will be a pressure on people to want to look for such kind of leaders. President Buhari, while giving his Independence Day speech, paid tributes to the founding fathers. And of course, Solomon Lar played a critical role in Nigeria's history, right from the First Republic when he was a federal parliamentarian. Dr. Michael Mary, talk to us about the politics of this man who, I mean, he won his governorship election under NMPP in the north, where you would think that, of course, the MPN is was the biggest party and all of that. And of course, in the First Republic, you have the Northern People's Congress, NPC, being the dominant party then. Talk to us about this politician.
Well, if you check the records and history of this man, even in the election you're talking about, 1959 elections, he won under the platform of the Action Group to the parliament. And like you also pointed out, in 1979, he was the only northern governor that contested on and won on the platform of a party that was largely dominated by the East.
Yeah, Nnamdi Azikiwe was the leader of the party.
Exactly. And you know, to demonstrate the fact that we are just 19 states in total, and at that time, because I'm mentioning this because these are the bane of problems here, he was able to nominate people into his cabinet from outside his state. How many years ago? Over 40 years ago.
Yeah,
so he
which
was
laid
already
the foundation for some governors now.
Unity. He was already thinking that Nigerians, wherever they are, whatever they do, once you have capacity to deliver, once you have the competence to deliver, and you are suitable for the job, come and deliver it. He was the one who ensured that a number of the institutions that even, I wouldn't want to say, were a hindrance to the progress of some communities were dislodged. He dislodged those institutions and gave them the emancipation that you talked about. And in
that's why it's called
he
the
was misunderstood. Some people said he was fighting the North, he was fighting this. He said, I don't hate the North, but these are Nigerians who also are entitled to the spoils and good of this land. Give them the opportunity to contribute to nation building. And if my government, as governor of Plateau State, will do that, I will do just that. Because I'm not interfering with what you're doing in your state. This is my state, and let the people know that they are not a conquered people. They have also a right to aspire and to discharge their duties to the nation. So Solomon Lar, apart from what she said, he was consistent, he was generous, he was very courageous. You see, the other day, Benny Lar, his daughter, was talking about how he was saved by Al-Mustafa after he came to deliver that letter that the group of eminent patriotic Nigerians wrote for the president, then
former head of state, Sani Abacha.
He delivered the letter personally. He didn't send it through a proxy. And Abacha invited him to discuss that letter. Unfortunately, the man died a day before the appointment. You know, so if he had the courage, you know, that time, if you say anything about that government, it is possible you may not enter your house. It may not be Abacha that was doing it, but people who were excessively loyal to Abacha could decide to create problem for you.
Yeah, I mean, in those days of the Colonel Omenkas and
all
of course
of them.
Al-Mustafa.
So he did that, he did that, and then Al-Mustafa saved him, because we know the story of what happened shortly.
Yeah, but I'm surprised to hear from her that Solomon Lar wouldn't have a house, having been the first national chairman of the People's Democratic Party and knowing what happened in PDP-led federal government. Isn't it such a big surprise to some of us to hear that?
Solomon Lar, the governors of that set, I can count them. Solomon Lar didn't have a house. Jim Wobodo, I visited him, is living in a semi-detached house here in Maitama. He rented. Someone pays. It's the good they did that is even living behind there. Remy, did he have any? How many houses did Remy have? Yeah, all of them. So you can see the selflessness in what they were convinced that in the good they do, it will live for them and after them. So it was all about, you know, I'm a product of the society. I know that for a fact that while I was passing this way to the government house as governor, I saw a woman selling akara. The fact that I'm in government house does not mean that my head will be cleared of the vision of the people I saw on the road who are toiling day and night. I should work for them. I should serve them. So this is the challenge. People enter government house, the first thing they want to do, build a house, send their children abroad, buy a big car, I've become a multi-millionaire.
Including private jets too. Well, let me come back to you, Dr. Fati. So why have you decided to honor this man with an autobiography? And of course, you're saying that you want an institute for him. I read somewhere that some people also want the Plateau State government to honor him with a state university, or is it for the federal government to declare University of Jos, Solomon Lar University, or something like that? What's making you to all want to gather for this politician?
Well, in the wisdom of the family, they decided to do a biography of Chief Solomon Lar and also an institute under the foundation. There's a foundation of Chief Solomon Lar and Mary Lar Foundation, which they now thought it right, you know, to keep his legacy. That is the reason why they are doing that institute, so that they keep his legacy going. And also to mentor the younger ones, because it will be like a leadership institute and like a research institute as such, because there will be a lot of research documentation and also diplomacy. As we are talking of Chief Solomon Lar, you know, behind a successful man, there's always a good wife. So, and we know that Professor Ambassador Mrs. Lar was a diplomat, and they think that this leadership there will be so many activities that will be done in that leadership institute. You know, like I keep on saying that there are so many institutes. You know, it's for the family now to do something very different. And to put structure on ground, a structure that will be sustainable, because so many things are happening. You know, leadership institute can never be too many. But then
for grooming young politicians, yes, and all of that,
because you are mentoring the younger ones, and it's a continuation of a legacy of the good leader you're talking about. Because Chief Solomon Lar, you know, has been a good leader, and he has lived by example. Because most of the leaders today, you know, with no apology, because we know what is happening, you know, have forgotten that leadership is about service. It's not about accumulating wealth, getting private jet, stealing money, and leaving the coffers of Nigeria empty, and people are suffering. That's the injustice we are talking about, that people, the youths especially, are not happy with the other generation.
Okay, Dr. Michael Berry, talk to us more about this as we try to round off this conversation.
Yes, thank you. About the book, let me just correct and listen. It's an autobiography.
Yeah.
He left behind to be presented to Nigerians at his death. Now, reason for it, apart from the family conviction, is the fact that most of the elder statesmen that we have met in the course of this thing are convinced that the man left worthy notes, worthy examples that should be inculcated in the training, in recruiting leaders. And leaders should be recruited not just for politics and governance, they should be recruited for all our social, industrial, economic, media spaces. So this center is going to be an all-inclusive center that will target a number of leadership issues that can help the corporate world, that can help governance, that can help the media, and so forth and so on.
Yeah, and I'm also curious to know what Solomon Lar would have said or done in this instance if he wakes up today to see the party that himself and others put together to the G34 being torn into several groups now. The PDP and the problems within that party. What would the Solomon Lar have done as the founding father of this party?
If he were alive, we wouldn't have gotten to that problem. He would have solved it because he was a good listener. He was available to rise up to crisis situations. Once he sees them, he calls the people together. Let's talk and find a solution. He was a talker. He was a Democrat. And Democrats usually should find solutions, not to aggravate, and everybody takes the extreme and pull everybody apart. So Solomon Lar would have solved the problem from the gestation stage. And
then the politics of North Central, where he actually is from, if you look at how the politics of that region has been played over time now, you discover that that particular region, geopolitical zone, is yet to produce a elected president. Yes, we've had former military heads of states like Babangida, and then Abdusalami Abubakar, and then Yakubu Gowon. How come it's difficult for us to be able to get very strong politicians to be able to, come out and become president in a competing atmosphere? It looks like the North Central has put itself in a situation whereby it's just being supportive of the Northwest or Northeast, and it looks like we don't have stronger politicians like Solomon Lar and maybe like Joseph Taka, the late J.S. Taka, and all of that, who used to come together, team together to want to challenge what's going on at the center.
I'm from Kiana in Nasarawa State, to answer your question. Nasarawa State is in the North Central or Middle Belt area. We are coming. What we don't want to do is to aspire to the leadership of Nigeria as a sectional group. And that is why I was telling a friend of mine, an Igbo friend of mine, that I say, why do you insist that you want an Igbo president? It's not an Igbo country. It's a Nigerian country. So behave the Nigerian way and get a Nigerian president. We want a president from the Southeast. It does not matter whether he's Igbo or speaks any other language. So let us groom Nigeria. Let us groom leaders who will see themselves as leaders of Nigeria, not leaders of this zone or that zone, and so forth and so on. So North Central is coming. We have had great leaders like David Mark, like Tiwa Danjuma, like the late Taka, their examples. They are grooming leaders. They will come.
Well, we are not seeing those leaders so much like that. As we try to round up the conversation, Dr. Fati, talk to us about the role of women in mobilizing for elections very quickly. As the elections are coming, what do we intend to put together to be able to, create a sense of, inclusion for everyone? Because it looks like some of the political parties are not so much centered on where the role of women should be in the forthcoming election.
The women have come a long way. Everybody knows that almost more than 80% or 70%, then the youth come in, that will go there, mobilize, and also stay in rain, in the sun and everything. But at the end of the day, they are not carried along. Some of us has said that if the men are not carrying us along, why should we come out for elections? Some of us are saying that let's do it differently. All these political leaders or those that are aspiring candidates at this time, let them come and tell us on the table, what do they have for women? Before women will come out and mobilize. And what would you give them? Your policies for women, programs for women that will carry women along. If not, I'm afraid that some of us will not even come out and mobilize.
Well, good enough. There's one woman presidential candidate that just joined, and of course they have to work hard to see if we can support her. Very quickly before we go.
Women in Nigeria should not continue to play the victim. They have capacity, they have talent, they have knowledge. They can lead. But if they dwell on being victims, therefore somebody should bring medicine to them, they may not get it.
That's not what
so let them participate. Let them start from somewhere. They have started. Some are being contesting election and winning. Some have contested election and got 1 vote. Where are the women?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very sure you're referring to Sarah Jibril.
Let us not vote
all right, we just have to end it on this very good note. We must thank you so much, Dr. Michael Mary is the former Director General of the National Orientation Agency, and of course, Dr. Fatih Ibrahim is the founder of Pan-African Women Global Network. We must thank you so much for joining us on this program to take a look at critical issues of nation building, Nigeria's 62nd anniversary, and of course the Solomon Lar legacy and his foundation that is set to come up, including the autobiography book that will be released. Well, this is where we'll have to leave it right now on behalf of the entire team here in Lagos, here in Abuja, Lagos, London. We must thank you for watching, and happy independence to all of you, including myself as a Nigerian. See you next week.
Good afternoon, sir. Please, I need a room to rent in your house.
Okay, where do you work?
I'm a nurse.
That means you won't owe me rent. Congratulations, young lady. You have yourself a house.
Well, thank you so much, sir. So, how much is the rent?
90,000 naira. Oh, but wait, where are you from?
I am from Akamata.
Akamata what? Akamata in my house? If you know how you got into my house, please get out right away. My spirit and that of Akamata people don't have anything to do together.
Sir, what have I done?
Your people from Akamata are known for bad things. That is what they represent, and you can't live in my house. Just get out right away.
What's going on?
Leave my house, young lady. Yes, our differences extend to our languages, culture, food, and even belief. But we are bound together by the cord of love. With one heart, with one voice, we will make Nigeria a hub of greatness, a place where the people live as one.
This message is brought to you from the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the UK government.
On behalf of the government and good people of Imo State, I, Senator Hope Uzodinma, Governor of Imo State, heartily felicitate with the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, and Nigerians on the joyful occasion of the country's 62nd independence anniversary. In particular, I especially celebrate ordinary Nigerians whose incredible resilience and patience in the face of daunting challenges have kept our country moving and also kept hope alive in the unity of our beloved nation. I therefore use the auspicious occasion of this anniversary to call on Nigerians, especially in the Imo, to continue to support both the federal and state governments in their sincere commitment to re-engineer the nation for a better future for all. Happy Independence Anniversary, Nigeria and Nigerians. Long live Nigerians. Long live Indimo. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Senator Hope Uzodinma, Governor of Imo State.
$34 million hectares of arable land, over 200 million people, one nation. Home to Africa's fertilizer company. Dangote Fertilizer. Pure urea fertilizer. With one single-minded passion to feed Nigeria. Every bag is a potential, an aspiration to turn this green nation into the biggest food basket of Africa. Dangote Fertilizer.
As you adjust to the new realities for operating your business and engaging with your customers, let us help you transform your business into a digital powerhouse capable of adapting and taking advantage of today's opportunities. With our best-in-class array of digital solutions, you can conduct your business, receive payments from your customers, and perform transactions quickly, safely, and conveniently, because we've got you covered with the right people, technology, and service offerings. Contact us today and let us take your business to its zenith. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.